It's 2009. You're sitting in your living room watching your cable television because this is a time where cable television was still very much around, and you see that the new Dragon Ball Evolution is now in theaters, and you beg your dad, "Pops, please, take me to this movie. I have to see it. I love Dragon Ball. I grew up with Dragon Ball. Please, Papa, please." And of course he says,
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
because this is 2009 and still very much in the time of the Great Recession, much like the times that we live in now. You know, we can barely afford to fill up our gas tanks. They could not afford to take us to the movie theaters when we were kids. So, but moving on from that, instead of going to the movie theater because of the Great Recession, you go to your family computer and you search up Dragon Ball Evolution free, and 1, 2, 3 movies pops up, and holy shit, there it is. So you open it up, and it's absolutely in the shittiest quality. Like, just somebody recorded it on their camcorder in the movie theater. But you being a kid, you don't really care. So you start watching it, and you're getting through this movie. And even as a 10-year-old boy at the time, I knew the Dragon Ball Evolution was trash. It was fucking horrible. Dragon Ball Evolution was an obvious attempt from Hollywood to cash in on an anime that was so popular, just captured the hearts of millions worldwide over the course of over 20 years. Instead of making something that was true to its source and appealing to its fans, they released this carcinogenic monstrosity, just absolute abortion of a movie. If you're a Dragon Ball fan and you insist on watching this movie, if you haven't already, well, strap yourself in for the ride of your life, because you're going to experience all the tantalizing sensations of being punched in balls for 100 minutes straight. So, considering the fact that most live-action adaptions are dog shit, why does television and movie producers continue to greenlight these movies? Why do they keep making them? Money. Dripping loads of money. The root of all evil, the thing that binds us to our lives of thinly veiled slavery, forcing us to work jobs that we hate, robbing us of the little time we have in this mortal realm.
I'm gonna kill myself!
Dragon Ball Evolution earned $56.6 million in the box office, and that's not even including the $8.6 million domestic and $15.4 million internationally in home video sales. Holy hot damn, Uncle Sam, if you could sell one of your steaming bowel movements for a profit of $50.6 million, or 168%, would you not stuff your face like a fucking lunatic?
Don't do that!
No. The question's not why are they making them. The question is why are they making them so goddamn bad? To answer this question, we need to explore the differences between anime and Hollywood. Western filmmaking, more specifically American filmmaking, is influenced by one major factor, and that's, will this sell? Most major television and movie productions are super expensive to make. I mean, you have to build super fancy and elaborate sets, hire high budget actors, incorporate super expensive and time-consuming CGI. This is why producers are only willing to make bets on stories that they know will have an audience. That's why we have superhero movies, video game adaptions, and a fuck ton of Groundhog Day rip-off time loop movies. When it comes to money, the great red, white, and blue Freedom Eagle is gonna play it safe every time. Japan, on the other hand, don't give a fuck. Anime has its own thematic trends that is more or less copy and pasted from one title to another, but there's still so much room for experimentation and unconventionality that you can hardly say that one is exactly like the other. For example, you have Sword Art Online. It's a simple premise with a simple title. A population of players gets stuck in a video game called Sword Art Online. Now let's look at Overlord. One specific player is stuck in a video game that just so happens to be another world, but he's an undead skeleton this time. Let's sprinkle in a little bit of harem. Oh, and oh wait, he's pretty much a fucking god. They're similar, but they go in completely different directions. It's not just the premises to these anime that's getting exceedingly more ridiculous and unorthodox. Now you have ridiculously long-ass titles that basically just tell you what the show is about. Reincarnated in another world as a slime. The reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in the world. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world. I got reincarnated as a younger version of my mom in another world with godlike powers that are fueled by acting on my slightly otaku tendencies. There is no end to what plot elements you can stitch together to create a completely new story. Anime, for the most part, is outlandish, with highly unconventional narratives that can be entirely experimental and follow no standard or precedent whatsoever. So why can anime stray from the beaten path so often while Hollywood tends to stick to the basics and plays it safe? Well, you guessed it, money. Inherently, anime is cheap to make. You don't have to build big fancy sets or hire well-known high-budget actors or incorporate super expensive CGI because anime is essentially just a cartoon. Let's look at Demon Slayer, for instance, a super popular anime right now. Just one episode only costs $80,000 to make. And if that sounds like a super big number to you, prepare to build a house because you're gonna be shitting bricks. Just one episode of the Witcher series on Netflix costs $15 million.
Damn!
Here's a little tidbit for some perspective. With one episode from The Witcher, you can make 187 episodes of Demon Slayer or 7 26-episode seasons. Oh no, I got reincarnated as a younger version of my mom in another world with godlike powers that are fueled by acting out on my slightly otaku tendencies. 2 didn't do as well as season 1. Hopefully my 2,000% profits from the manga sales, toy sales, film adaptation, and mobile game spin-off can cover my losses. Here's some more statistics and numbers for all you greasy little nerds who love your statistics and numbers. Each episode of Stranger Things Season 4 is estimated to cost a mere $30 million. At 9 episodes, that's a whopping total of $270 million for the season. This is considerably more than the budget for Fast and Furious 8, but that's just season 4. Seasons 1 and 2 cost $48 million and $72 million respectively. Now, I'm going to preface that the following information is hardly believable, and I was unable to concretely confirm this number, but according to fandomwire.com, Death Note, the original Death Note, is estimated to cost the equivalent of $1 million US per episode. Now for the whole show, that's just about $40 million. Again, hardly believable, but for the sake of my argument, let's roll with it. That $1 million per episode, that $40 million for the entire show, would be the entire cost of the budget for the Netflix adaptation. Now, respectfully, Death Note 2017's Death Note from Netflix was shit. And we're going to talk about this for a second because it is exceedingly relevant to my next point. America doesn't care about the source material, or at the very least is too ignorant to understand it. The anime's Light Yagami was compelling due to his intellect and his cunning that is comparable to that of Moriarty, the counterpart for Sir Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes. Add to that comparison, Light Yagami's counterpart would be the equally as brilliant international detective simply known as L, who would play the Sherlock Holmes role to Light's Moriarty. The most compelling factor to the anime would be the cat and mouse game, the battle of wits between these two characters. In the movie, instead of getting that, we get Light Turner, whose intellect could hardly be considered to be that of more than just an average person. And that's because the only brain this fucking kid was using was the one in his pants. I mean, he gets hit on by one girl and he whips out the Death Note like a third grader in show and tell. So I have this notebook, and if I write a name in it, that person dies. So Do you want to make out now or what? Just like Dragon Ball Evolution, 2017's Death Note just wasn't faithful to the original. It distilled the main plot points that made the anime so intriguing and utterly failed to meet expectations. But that's the true killer right there. The expectations. You can never recreate the first time you watch Death Note or Dragon Ball Z or Cowboy Bebop or Avatar: The Last Airbender, especially, and just hear me out, when all the fans that watch those still remember every fucking detail. A remake, adaptation, reboot, whatever, anything that is being made based on something else is only effective when the thing that is being remade is no longer relevant. To prove my point, let me just throw up some shit behind me with the power and magic of video editing. Yeah, you see all these classics, all these timeless masterpieces that probably for at least some has a special place in your heart. Yeah, every single one of these is a remake. You know why you probably loved all these remakes? Maybe because you had no clue about the originals. That's the whole point. These weren't made to try to appeal to all the old people that, held these near and dear to their hearts. It was so a new generation could experience something old in a new and updated way that they could relate with. How the fuck are you gonna do that with One Piece if the show is still running? So to tie everything together, anime is just too big, too relevant, and entirely too goddamn expensive to accurately recreate those same feelings that you had when you first saw it. Everyone that's tried to do it before has failed spectacularly, and at least for the time being, will continue to do so.